Hi everybody, Antonia here from BumpyCrafts. Happy New Year to you all. I decided for this year that I would do something a bit different with my YouTube account for BumpyCrafts, and as well as showing you bags or accessories or yarn that I've made for my Etsy store, I'd show you some of my knitting projects, either that I've completed or that I'm currently working on, because sometimes I find that although you can see pictures of finished projects, if you don't get told about them in detail, you never know whether it's something you fancy or not. So what you're looking at now is a close to you shawl, and here is the pattern. This is a free pattern on Ravelry by Justyna Lorkowska, and this is just a wonderful mindless knit, and I don't mean that in any way derogatory to the creator of this pattern. It is so much fun to knit. I love knitting watching the television, or if I'm out and about at a doctor's appointment or waiting for my children, and this is a pattern that once I've cast on, I actually don't need to look at the notes anymore because it's a very easy repeat knit. So you can see here that it's got an eyelet edge, and you can knit as many of these edges as you want and just keep going with the pattern. This is a one skein shawl, and I used up the whole of the skein with this, and then it just has a simple bind off. So this is knit in fingering weight yarn, and it uses a European 4mm circular needle, or at least that's what I used. And the yarn was just something I had in my stash. It's actually going to be a gift, and the person who I'm gifting it to loves this particular colour, and I quite like the fact that it's in a sort of plain colour with nothing too busy going on. So this is a fabulous knit, and because I loved it so much, and I had seen it so many times on pictures, but I'd never knit this one, but this is definitely going to be my go-to shawl for gifts, or if I just want something simple to knit on, if I've got a doctor's or hospital appointment or something like that. But I'll show you, I've started another one as well, just because, like I said, it's a simple project. So this one, again, I'm trying to use my stash yarn as much as possible, because I eventually just want to knit really in my own yarn, apart from the odd skein that I purchase. But there was no labels on this, so I'm sorry, I don't know who made this skein of yarn. I do know, I think it's a cashmere merino nylon. It feels incredibly soft, and I'm not sure if it's going to show up well in the camera, but this is a sparkle yarn, and it's sort of silver grey and gold, and so I thought that would be a really nice gift knit. Again, it's on my 4mm needle, which is Chargu, and I love these needles so much, a real luxury. And then I always try and use Chapel View Crafts, so Cheryl Cunliffe. I love her stitch markers. So this is her hot cross bun. Hope you can see that well. The lighting isn't brilliant, but yeah, I like using her stitch markers. And then I'm using one of my yarn sacks as my project bag. I find these really handy if I'm on the go, just grab and go bags. They hold a skein of yarn, so a wound skein of yarn, which you can see here, and these are perfect just for socks or shawls, and I can fit the whole completed shawl in these yarn sacks, and I have some in the shop at the moment. They're inexpensive, and they fasten with 2 poppers. Let me just put that all in there. And you see, that's perfect for on the go. I can just grab it, shove it in my bag and go. So I just wanted to show you my yarn sack. Okay, let's move on. So I don't know about you, but I really find it difficult now if I have time on my hands to watch television or a movie, or if I'm at the doctor's. I find it really hard to just sit there and not do anything. I really feel the need to knit or to crochet. And so I am a monogamous knitter. I definitely was the majority of last year, and it's my most comfortable when I'm only knitting on one project at a time. However, I decided to cast on the Sanctuary socks, and this is a new knitting cowl by Winwick Mum, so that's Christine, and she designed some fantastic patterns that are all free of charge, and they're on her blog and they're on her Facebook site, and she also has an Instagram account, so that's Winwick Mum, so WINWICK, and these are her latest cowl, which is a cable, and it's sort of a slalom cable. So Christine knitted her socks in West Yorkshire Spinners yarn, and it's actually her dyed yarn by West Yorkshire Spinners, and this one's a purple and a white. But I decided to knit using my BumpyYarn. I prefer the pattern to be in a less busy yarn. I think it shows the slalom of the cable much better. So she's called it her Sanctuary sock, and it's a slalom cable because it all slopes like the skis on a mountainside, and that's her thought. And her pattern is written in 5 sizes. It's ever so well written. It's both a written pattern and it's also a charted pattern. And as I say, you just need to go on to Winwick Mum on Facebook or on Instagram or on Christine's blog to find out more information about it. But it's supposed to be a relaxing, knit by the fire, winter kind of sock. Obviously winter is different in different parts of the world, but it's just supposed to be something that's relaxing for you. So I decided to knit this, as I said, in BumpyYarn. So I'm just going to move the pattern out of the way for the moment. And again, I'm using a yarn sack that I made. I'm just finding these a real easy grab and go. So this is my BumpyYarn, and this is Drag Race, and it is on 75% merino, 25% nylon, and it's on our super soft base, and it is incredibly soft and squidgy. And I've used this before for socks, and it's so lovely and luxurious to wear. So this is, I'm actually using 2 lots of DPNs. I can do magic loop, but I just really enjoy DPNs for knitting socks, and these are 2.5mm for the pattern. So let me see if I can show you up close. Let's zoom in a bit. So you can see there the slalom starting to form, and unlike a normal cable, it goes in a sort of snaky pattern, or like a slalom. And you can see here the yarn, so it's a deep magenta, and it has lots of different colours sprinkled throughout it. And it's called Drag Race because I love watching RuPaul's Drag Race, and it was taken from their colours on their promo shot. And I can show you the yarn as a skein. So I just noticed in the previous clip that the yarn didn't come out very well. It was quite blown out by the light, and I'm sorry about the lighting. I'm just hoping that this will show it a bit better. And you can see here I'm using a stitch marker again by BumpyCrafts. But this is the skein. So I have 3 currently in the shop. Let me just zoom out for you. So it's my BumpyYarn, and it's a magenta colour with lots of different sprinkles all the way through, whites, yellows, blues. It's a really nice colourway. And then if I zoom in here, you can see it's our super soft base, fingering 4-ply, 100 grams, 400 metres, 437 yards. It's 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon, and the colours Drag Race. And this really is a luxurious yarn. It's soft and it's so squidgy and comfortable. Lovely in shawls, great for socks. Yeah, I really enjoy this. So that's the Drag Race yarn that I'm using for my sock. As I say, 3 in the shop, and all the items in my shop are free postage worldwide. So here are some of the bags that I currently have in my Etsy shop. These are all zipper bags. I do have other styles, but these are the ones that I was working on most recently. So if you love flamingos, let me just move these ones out of the way. This is a fantastic pattern. It's camouflage, so green and black, and then it's got these lovely flamingos on the print. I'll flip it over to show you. And it has a red zipper, and I always do my zipped bags with material at the end of the zip. I just think it finishes it off much nicer. And this is lined in red polka dot. So if I open it out, so it's the perfect size for a sock project or a shawl project, baby hats, or just a hat in general. And it's a really great size. So I have this design in the 1 skein project bag, and then I also have it in the medium size. So this can hold 3 skeins quite easily. So again, the camouflage print with the flamingos on it, and again a red zip, and it's lined in red polka dots. Okay, and then the next one I have is, this is a safari print, and it's all different types of exotic birds. We've got some lovebirds here, and then there's parrots and cockatiels, there's butterflies, and there's tigers. So it's sort of a jungle safari scene. It's on a cream background, and the birds are in lovely primary colours. And then I lined this one with a blue polka dot. I thought that picked up the blue of the birds. And that's, as I say, the same as before. So this is a 1 skein project bag. It could easily hold 1 if not 2 skeins of yarn. And then I also have the same pattern in a medium sized bag, which can hold easily 3 skeins, and it's lined in the blue polka dot again. And this is with a cream zipper. Okay, and then next I have this really fun print. I think I've got this in a yarn sack as well. So this is the frog prints, and I love this print. So you can see here it's a pale blue base with frogs with a silver glittery crown on. The light's just not very good, is it? Let's see if I zoom in better. So each frog has a different expression. One's lounging, one's catching a dragonfly here. Let me show you, just here. It's a really fun print. And then I had it with a white zip, and it's lined in lime green to match the frog. So I just have this in a large, and a large can hold up to 6 skeins of yarn quite easily. So it's a great sweater project bag. I just have the one of those in the shop, but I believe I've got a yarn sack in this print as well. And then the next few bags are also in large, and this one is Drama Llama. So it's a beige background, and it has llamas and alpacas all over it. And they've all got different patterned saddles on, and some of them have got a fringe here, which is funny. They have a black zip, and it's lined, I want to call this hundreds and thousands, but it's lined in sort of a coffee colour or caramel colour with sprinkles all over it, and it complements the colour of the llamas and alpacas on the front. And each of these bags have a handle. So I have 2 of those currently in the shop, and then I have my standard sheep fabric, which I think most of you know. So this is a sheep sweater sized bag. It has a black zip, and this is lined in a cream and beige polka dot. And then lastly, I have a really bright and fun summery print. So it's blues and yellows, purples, pinks with green leaves, a lovely flowered print. It has a white zip, and it's lined in a bright blue and white polka dot, which matches the colour of the flowers. And I just have the 1 large in this print. I'm trying to think if there's another bag. There might be a needle organiser bag in this print as well in my shop. I'll be making some more of my drawstring signature bags that have the handles very soon in different sizes. But I hope you enjoyed the format of my video today. I wanted to show you some of my knitting and some of my yarn and my bags. I'm going to try and do this vlog style recording every so often on here. It's nice for me to just make a note of what I'm knitting as well. So for my shop, it's www.bumpycrafts.etsy.com, and I have knitting and crochet project bags, I have accessory bags, and then I have BumpyYarn, and then also in my shop I have BumpyBorn, which is baby clothes that I've either knitted or sewn, and I'm sort of aiming those at the reborn community. So that's just another area that I ventured into last year, and I'm just ticking along with that because I enjoy making the baby clothes. I'm also on Instagram, BumpyCrafts, and Facebook, BumpyCrafts, and Ravelry, BumpyCrafts, and that's where you'll see all the knitting that I've been doing. So anyway, look after yourselves, and I'll catch up with you again soon. Take care.